This is the Social Distance Reading Series, a project between the Vermont School and Green Mountains Review. I'm Felicia Zamora, poet and author of the book Body of Render, coming out from Red Hen Press in April 2020. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to be reading a few poems from Body of Render, and then I'll read 2 new poems and then give you some suggestions for further reading. I'm going to be reading the first poem of the beginning of the book, called At the Hand of Other. And of desire, how we thirst below flesh, below cortex, below pelvis, the minute ticks we barely keep at bay, how we often inside out, how we bells struck, and our music resides first in body, then in mindful this gap. We bounce back to ourselves, to lick our own lips and feel the weight of our own motion and emotion. Jellyfish in change of water's influence, to be at the hand of other. Say, this too desire. How afferent we, always in lead toward. How we all nerves and gather. Message, and our pupils dilate us. How we all wet and longing, cell to cell. If starlight be. If starlight be, how visible and electromagnetic your form, and all the parts of the unseen we take for granted. Decisions on Capitol Hill spoken into law without say of anyone other than, say, elected official. Say, oh, radiation of you lost behind another broken system. Say, we made it someone's job to speak for us. And now? What light bears in us? If starlight be, waves in carry through space. Say, speed of light in a vacuum. How a country moves with the voices of its people on its back. How we carried by misdeeds in a justice system that sees color and distastes it, sees the poor under its gavel, and wields despite. Blindfold, long removed moons ago, scales and twist and distort. If starlight be, how you produce charged particle in acceleration. Wave of you brings energy and momentum to give from a source to matter you interact with. How generous a source found in lungs, brain, and aortic sac. Say, what makes you human makes you powerful. Let all who treat you inhumane feel your energy in pulse. If starlight be, and you single photon, rest in mass of zero. Rest in the infinite design of a mouth open before all the numbers of the universe tumble out and become yours for the taking. Linger brief here, on the verge. Do not let roles and officials wipe your name. Use your trachea, your tongue to speak, lest you begin to forget. Next, I'm going to read a section from the second to last section of the book. All the poems are titled Poem to America. Poem to America. Grit under nails, belly of food stamps and government cheese. See, this body constructed in poverty, under the fists of many who you taught to fear for her own Latina skin, who grew inside your guts, no longer a child's throat. Spine elongates behind trachea, strength of bone. And yes, say vocal cords, say what haunts you now, singular voices in collect. Poem to America. Heart of you. Chant people, 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 people. Home to America. An equation. Top 1% income equals 25 times bottom 99% income combined. When a word breaks, who mends it? Say capitalism. 1% benefit from the rupture. Home to America. Say, be just. Home to America. Our joints load with definitions. Let's be clear. Let us say the word just out loud as a country, as a community, and mean rightful, equitable, proper, and hold each up into the light. Home to America. Isthmus of the Fosses. Passage and passage and passage. Home to America. You fracture, boulders in your jaws. We hear in your throat, climbing. Be ladder to voices. Hear us speak in you, as you. Unapologetic. To you, dear stranger, dearest amygdala, dearest burn in chest and production of, say, yes, you know the sensation. Flap and desire to stow in the underside of breeze, carry, say, away from fight, how you bind in cells, in impulses, and your brain all electrical, and you, conductor, producer of. Let's be clear. No apologies to America anymore. You no longer in hyper, and the word nation a sore on lips underside, and you in tongue, velocity of pain, enormity of heel, how humanity and equity redact so simply from motions the jaws crank apart, together, apart. Say, way of things now, no. You have a hand in it all. How brave outside the self you must be. Say, uterus apologizes no more. Say, Latina veins apologize no more. Say, clitoris apologizes no more. Say, these features that offend apologize no more. Say, oh country, the weight of doors enclose flays your heart. And all hearts inside, indigenous or immigrant, now plead with your lungs, country, oh country, hear our voices ignited. Now I'm going to read two new pieces for you from my newest manuscript, and both were pretty recently written in the last about 6-7 months. Dear Coyote, I stitch the stars and patterns of your chin, your kneecap, your rib, your gait a constellation of absence. I map your body, a celestial cartography to understand my own echo, my own cave in the torso, cave of undoing. When you beat my brother's face with a sack of potatoes, when he bruised and you drew the burlap back for blood, did you smell lilac? Believe our fists Your fists made us into something beautiful. When you opened our mother with knuckles scented with other vaginas, did you believe in your gift past? I cut my breasts in the mirror and consider the tissues of violence. If I crack my neck, cleave at the thyroid, and pull the medulla oblongata out, will I cross-section the parts of you that continue to wound? I am a poor butcher, and an even poorer butcher's daughter. My fingers fail to sew you into being, for each star a sun and bleed of light, destructive and vitalizing. We both know this thread and needle ignite in each baste, each backstitch of form. We both hold the weight of ash in our lungs. And this final poem is really about the reclamation of self, and really it's dedicated to anyone who's ever been made to feel less than or unworthy. This poem is for you, and this poem is for us. Beautiful fault. Let's say I am significant, and how this leads to all possibilities inside and outside the skull. This too, a form of logic and fact of imagination, as imagining itself into fact. We imagine ourselves every moment. I create I. How we find ourselves in space of each other. How the page waits on tiptoes, on edges for our participation. Do you feel a tension in these inadequate strokes of language? Foundations matter. A lack defines only relative to something other. I am something other, and I love you, regardless of the withouts that you labeled me, regardless of your knuckles at my lips and how I've come to know the taste of iron in my blood, and I want to believe that makes me strong. Who gets to decide what without looks like? I ask, but you know that I know. I know. How I find comfort in questions you do not wish me to ask about my body, my brownness, relative to you. Relativity used to be a game. In grammar school, you named me Greasy Spick. You named me Dirty Beaner, my vagina taco. You slashed words at my body. A game you thought to play me, to pock me, to shut me up by gouge. And in the shower, I'd pick at the holes your words carved from me, place each scab on my tongue and spit it out. Each scab torn to deepen the scar. I wanted to remember. In the mulberry trees, my brother taught me scars are memories that bear wounds, gifts of resistance. He squinted in the use of the word gifts. What he meant was, it's not my fault that someone hates me before knowing I exist. What he meant was, a fault exists in every universe, and my body is welcome there. What he meant was, if we fracture a system long enough, our voices build a neoteric system with our voices inside. What he meant was, the lived faults of me gather year over year and make me whole and love me, and make me whole and love me. What he meant was, we conceive ourselves first, fact, and tailor the world to hear us. Tailor the world. Thank you so much for being with me today and listening to me read. Body of Render, again, will be out in April 21st, 2020, from Red Hen Press. You can find more about me at feliciazamora.com. I do have some great reading recommendations. I actually have 3. Eyes Bottle Dark with a Mouthful of Flowers by Jake Skeets is an amazing read. I highly recommend it, from Milkweed Editions. Field by Joss Charles, also from Milkweed Editions, which is just a fabulous reclamation of language and the trans experience. A voice that's needed right now more than ever. And Tracing the Horse by Boa by Diana Marie Delgado. 3 fabulous books that I hope that you'll check out. These are just what's on my mind right now. Thank you so much to Green Mountains Review, as well as the Vermont School. I appreciate all the work that you're doing. Please all be safe, take care of one another, and I look forward to seeing you all read as well. Take care.